Well, hello again, and welcome to Tom's Shack/Shop. This video is going to bring me up to date on the Zenith. What you're looking at is where I am currently now in the work. You will notice I have a new brown cloth-covered cord in going from tube to tube. That's the filament line. I've replaced the paper capacitors up in the right-hand corner and put them to a terminal strip the way they're supposed to be. I've also replaced a couple small wires in addition to the filament wires, and I've also put in a couple more orange drops in place of where there were some paper capacitors. And in this video I'm missing some footage. It's what I have. I lost a couple of clips, don't know what happened transferring them from one drive to another on the computer. I lost them. What I'm mainly going to focus on in these coming clips is the electrolytic capacitor replacement, which you'll see on the bottom half here of the chassis directly across from that big flywheel on the left hand side. There's a circle. And the flywheel there has a missing belt, which we're going to replace, and I'll talk about that. And again, in this lower half of the chassis, I've replaced a melted cord that was the power cord with cloth-covered cord, and a bunch of other pieces of wiring that were either rubber and crumbling, or they were the lamp cord that were put in by the previous owner, and I've replaced them with cloth-covered cord. So the following brings us up to August 22nd, 2016. And then I'll be putting out new videos after that. Before I get set up on the tripod, I thought I would do a little impromptu work. So I took a look around again for that belt, and there it is. And it's www.adamsradio.com, and they have belts for all different brands. And this is made in the USA. You don't see that much anymore, so I'm happy about that. This is just a small little company in the US that makes different things, and I think they do other stuff besides radios. There is the belt, and it goes around that drum there to this hub right here. I'm trying to get out a little. So that has to go on there, and to get it around this, I have to remove this whole shaft. And I noticed too, this shaft is a little wobbly, so it's been whacked. So when I get that out, I'll probably try to straighten it. It doesn't look that difficult to come off. I think you can just unscrew this wheel, the flywheel, unscrew these, probably this one. That looks like the one that's going to hold it. And then extract it. Now this is an external one. The internal one, and this might be where it gets a little hairy, is the back one, which is controlling that pot. That's my volume, I do believe. Is that no, it's not a push button. So the internal and the external shafts have to come out of there. So we'll do that. We'll get that belt on and clean the old remnants of the old belt off. Now back to the capacitor. I just thought I'd review this. I know 99% of you, if you're watching one of these videos, have done this work or you have an interest in it. If you've never done one of these, there's the ring we put on has 3 tabs. And then you have the tabs in the middle, which are your actual leads from the capacitors. The tabs on the outside go into 3 slots. On the bottom of the radio, you can see the triangle in the middle with the 3 slots. The tabs go through the slots. Once you push them through the slots, you take your flat-nosed pliers and you give them a little, maybe not even a quarter of a turn twist, just to offset them to hold them in place. One of these, that one, cracked so I won't spin that one if I don't have to. I'll just spin the other 2 a little bit to hold it in place. So I'm going to shove it in from behind like so. and I wanted it turned this way. This probably will not line up the first time. You usually have to move the tabs around a little bit with a pair of pliers to get them to line up with the slots, because they've been messed with. And I can't do that holding the camera. So comes up from behind, your leads go through the middle, and the little tabs go through the slots. And I'm going to set up the camera on the tripod and do that, which we'll be right back. Alright, I'm set up. My battery's a little low, and if I run out of juice, I apologize. I just made a video segment about this belt, and I have a feeling it was upside down, and I won't know until I put it on my computer. So I'm going to redo this little section. I found the radio drive belt. I looked around again. It's made in the United States. The company is adamsradio.com, www.adamsradio.com. They carry belts for all different radios, including the Zenith, and I think it's $3 or $4, and like nothing for shipping, because they send it in a regular envelope. And that goes on the flywheel to the there, and we'll do that later. Just wanted to put that out there. So what we are doing here is trying to get the can into the slots, and it's always a little bit of a challenge because you gotta bend the tabs around a little bit to get them to line up with the slots. That should be correct, yes. Now we just take our flat-nosed duckbill pliers, grab the tab, and give it a little bit of a turn, not much. You don't want to snap it off. You just want to offset it so it holds the thing in place. The last one at the bottom is, unfortunately, the slot broke, but it isn't going to go anywhere. There's not much tension on this thing. It's just sitting in there. As long as the other two tabs hold it, it's not going to move. Now it's in position. I'm looking at the view on the camera to see how much you're seeing, because a lot of these wires, unfortunately, block the view, and I don't want to be rough with them of what I'm doing. So it's in position. Our little mica cap goes to the bottom lug. You know what, I'm going to do this off camera simply because where this tripod is off my shoulder, I cannot get in front of this radio where I need to be to do this efficiently, and it's going to be a bit of a job with two hands because I get to put all the leads through. I'll get all the leads in and then get ready to solder and maybe come back. Alright, I'm back, and I've got the capacitor in place, soldered up. The challenges of doing videos of a person working on a radio are becoming more and more apparent to me. I have great respect for Jim Lindeness, who does a pretty good job with the camera work. It's hard to be your own director because you either hold this thing with one hand, which I'm doing now, so I can move it around and show you what I'm talking about, or you put it on a tripod and then you can't zoom in and you're kind of stuck with one angle. And if you're working on something and you need both hands and you're trying to get something, get wires on, like these wires, they were a little challenging to get back in the holes of those little lugs, and you got to use two hands, and to not block the camera to show people what you're doing at the same time is almost impossible. So the only way to see it is, you'd have to have a cameraman that could like zoom in and move around and all that. Wow, my battery's going dead again. I don't understand this. I've had this plugged in for like 3 hours. It must not have been charging. This thing charges on USB. I hope the battery's not shot. Well, I'll talk quick. It's in, and the only thing I got to do is these blue wires that you see are ground, and they need to be I'm going to run some new wire in here, some of the brown wire, and ground those to the lug. And then we're going to power it up. So the next video will be powering it up. And then of course the belt drive, which I mentioned previously. So that'll be the future thing. Put that on, finish up the ground, and then power this thing up. I have to get the speaker out of the cabinet, which is out of my shed, to do that. I'll be back powering it up hopefully soon. Thanks for watching.